The Duke of York, Andrew, is removed from all titles and duties for his links to the Jeffrey Epstein matter. The Duchess of Sussex, Meghan Markle, is likewise excluded for the same grave breach of trust. The monarchy will advance under William and Catherine with renewed integrity.
You know, darling, when you walk through Westminster late at night, after all the cameras are packed up and the politicians finally stop pretending, you start to realize something very real. Nothing in Britain collapses in one day. Not governments, not careers, and certainly not the royal family. Oh no, this is the kind of kingdom where things break slowly, like old walls cracking in silence long before anyone even notices.
A matter of when, not if, he strips Prince Harry and Meghan Markle of their royal title.
Everything just falls apart, piece by piece, quietly, until, boom, the whole ceiling comes crashing down. And then everyone acts surprised like they didn't see it coming. But those warning signs? Honey, they were screaming for months. And that's exactly what just happened inside the House of Windsor. The latest royal earthquake wasn't some random tantrum. It followed that old royal rhythm. Whispers first, panic later.
William, let me be clear, does not believe his father, the cancer-stricken king, has gone far enough. He thinks Andrew should not even be a prince. He certainly should not be in the United Kingdom. Exile is the only answer. But the problem is that requires an act of parliament. That act of parliament, I am told, William also intends to use to finally jettison the...
And finally, a royal order so shocking it made the whole world freeze. The meltdown wasn't sudden. It was simmering for ages. But when it exploded big. Everyone saw the headline. King Charles stripping two very familiar names of their royal titles. And people thought, oh, he must have just had enough. Woke up, sipped his tea, and said, I'm done with their drama. But that's not how this palace works, sweetheart. Those who actually know the inner corridors, the secretaries, the aides whispering in dark corners, they know this decision was years in the making. Quiet fury bottled up for too long. Because in the palace, nothing ever happens out of the blue.
I did think it would happen. If Harry and Meghan are watching, they should be incredibly concerned, because if it's this simple to take away Prince Andrew's titles, one day it could be this easy to take away Harry and Meghan.
Every royal punishment is brewed slowly. Anger, pressure, and the harsh realization that no crown, no matter how golden, can cover up a tarnished reputation. And that's how we ended up right here, at this messy royal turning point. Now, look at Prince Andrew. Once the Duke of York, now reduced to just Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. The shadow of scandal following him like a ghost. And then Meghan Markle, stripped of her Duchess of Sussex title. Two people, two disasters, kicked out through the same golden door like yesterday's embarrassment. The palace called it serious breaches of trust. But insiders?
Is only given to working royals, senior members of the royal family, because it denotes a level of respect in the public, and also it's not a financial thing. Working royals do not profit. They do not use their names to make money. It's an honor.
They call it something else. Survival. You see, the HRH titles are meant for working royals only, not celebrities using royal blood for brand deals. It's an honor, not a paycheck. So when King Charles made that decision, it wasn't just a reaction, it was a statement. The crown is not for sale. And oh, the whispers say William pushed for it too. He knows the monarchy can't keep both the Andrew fiasco and the Sussex circus dragging down the family name. Even royal supporters were begging, Cut them out before the brand collapses completely.
William knows that it is unpalatable for the British monarchy to keep this disastrous couple in the mix when it comes to Andrew and Fergie, but also to have Harry and Meghan constantly dragging down the brand. Both couples are an issue.
Yeah, I feel very strongly that Harry and Meghan should be.
For years, the monarchy moved like an old clock. Predictable, slow, elegant, but irrelevant. King Charles fading in the background, William and Kate waiting their turn, and Meghan, oh Meghan, constantly shaking things up. The monarchy wasn't hated, it just existed. Like a grand building everyone praises, but no one visits. Then 2025 arrived, and the ghosts of old scandals came knocking. At first, it seemed small. A few lines buried in those Epstein documents. A whisper in the tea rooms of Westminster. Did you see the new emails? Something about Andrew again? But those whispers turned into alarms, fast. By autumn, everyone in political circles was panicking. Documents, names, timelines, all starting to connect again. The palace lawyers were practically losing sleep. Some insiders even whispered that Meghan's fate was sealed years ago. This new scandal just gave the king the excuse he needed to act. Because, for all her charm and ambition, Meghan forgot one thing. The palace never forgets. And William, the ever-calm future king, was reportedly done with the circus. According to whispers, he pushed hard for an act of parliament to clean house completely. Not just Andrew, not just Beatrice or Eugenie, but Harry, Meghan, and even the children, Archie and Lilibet, removed from the royal line altogether. Brutal? Maybe. But necessary? In their eyes, absolutely. By early November, even the press could smell something brewing. Journalists, who usually roll their eyes at palace gossip, were whispering, "Something big is coming." And when the British press starts whispering, oh honey, you know the storm is close. Then came November 10th. Picture this, a foggy London morning, Buckingham Palace glimmering in silence, reporters rushing, everyone waiting for a statement. Charles emerged in a plain dark suit, no medals, no grandeur, just cold determination in his eyes. And then he said it. The titles were gone. Andrew's finished. Meghan's out. William and Kate are the future. No soft words, no palace sugarcoating, just the royal guillotine dropping. The crowd gasped. Reporters froze. Social media went up in flames. And within minutes, headlines around the world screamed, "King Charles removes Meghan Markle's royal title." The palace called it a necessary act of integrity. But we all know the truth. It was also a power shift. A statement that the monarchy was officially under new management. And that management? William and Catherine. Even some royal insiders whispered that William had seized control, subtly but completely. King Charles may have delivered the statement, but everyone in Westminster knew it had William's fingerprints all over it. You could almost feel the ground shake under Buckingham Palace that morning. The crowd's murmur turned into chaos, reporters screaming for statements, phones ringing off the hook. It wasn't just a royal announcement, it was a royal earthquake. And trust me, every single person in that palace knew life would never be the same again. Even senior royal commentators started whispering that day, "This isn't just punishment, it's the beginning of something bigger." The monarchy had hit reset. And honestly, it was long overdue. Public approval had been sinking for years. Young Brits no longer cared about crowns and castles. Commonwealth nations were slipping away one by one. And yet, what finally broke the silence wasn't politics, wasn't money. it was reputation. Charles couldn't afford another scandal, and William refused to watch his family become a late-night joke. For King Charles, this was his make-or-break moment. He had spent decades waiting for his turn, and now he was determined not to let history remember him as weak. Removing Andrew? Expected. Stripping Meghan? Unthinkable, until it happened. The shockwave it sent was massive. Even politicians who usually ignored royal drama were glued to the screen. Prince William has, in the past fortnight, seized control of the British monarchy from a weak and dying King Charles, one commentator boldly claimed on air. Harsh words, but not entirely wrong. William had been quietly preparing for this, positioning himself and Catherine as the steady, scandal-free pair ready to carry the crown forward. The young, clean image everyone could finally root for. Meanwhile, Meghan's side? Oh, they were fuming. Furious, actually. California PR teams spinning all night, lawsuits being whispered, friends defending her on talk shows. But in the eyes of Britain, it was done. The bridge was burned. Harry and Meghan should be very afraid, another royal insider said, because now it's not if, it's when. That's when it hit everyone. This wasn't just Charles's announcement. This was William's rise. Quietly, strategically, the future king had moved into the driver's seat. Inside palace walls, staff called it the transition that wasn't supposed to happen yet. Charles may still wear the crown, but William and Catherine? They've already taken control of the story. And in the royal world, that's everything. For the public, though, it looked like a long overdue cleanup. Finally, some shouted outside Buckingham Palace. No more scandals, no more drama. But the older royals, the courtiers who've seen every royal meltdown since Diana, they weren't celebrating. They were whispering, "What's next?" Because if history has taught us anything, one scandal ends and another begins. Even the most loyal royal supporters admitted this decade had been brutal. The family's approval had hit historic lows, and the younger generation, they weren't just bored, they were angry. Why should we pay for palaces, they said, when we can't even afford rent? Charles knew that frustration was dangerous. He had to act, and act boldly. So yes, he removed Andrew, the man everyone loved to hate. But taking Meghan's title? That was the statement that defined his reign. And oh, Meghan's reaction. Predictable, yet explosive. Meghan Markle is threatening to sue the British royal family and Prince William if her titles are removed, one report shouted. And that's Meghan for you, the woman who never lets anyone else have the last word. California sunshine, powerful lawyers, endless media connections. She was ready to fight back. But inside the palace, there was no panic, just relief. A quiet kind of exhaustion mixed with triumph. A necessary amputation, one advisor whispered. It hurts, but it saves the body. Harsh? Maybe. But that's how the monarchy survives, by cutting out what it can't control. Now, let's talk about William and Catherine, the stars of this new royal chapter. Their image? Polished to perfection. William, the serious, loyal, soldier-turned-family man. Catherine, the calm, elegant heartbeat of the crown. Together, they've become the brand the monarchy desperately needed. Quiet, dignified, and unshakable. Even the most cynical British press, the ones who never miss a chance to mock royalty, had to admit they're the last ones holding it together. And it worked. The public started to warm up again. Polls jumped overnight. Commonwealth leaders who'd been ready to ditch the crown started talking about renewed partnership. Even young people began to say, well, maybe Will and Kate are different. The royal machine knew how to spin that hope, And oh, they milked it. Every photo of William smiling, every shot of Kate comforting children, every charity visit, it was a message. The future is safe again. But let's not get too dreamy, because in Britain, every royal revival is temporary. There's always another storm brewing, and Meghan knows how to stir one better than anyone. And make no mistake, she's not staying quiet. Sources say she feels betrayed, that she believes she's being sacrificed to protect others. Some even claim she's considering a tell-all sequel. And if that happens, the palace better brace itself. Because Meghan doesn't whisper, she roars. Meanwhile, palace insiders are holding their breath. "We've stabilized," one said, "but we're not safe." And they're right. One wrong move, one slip from a royal mouth, and it's back to chaos. The British monarchy may have regained control for now, but it's standing on shaky ground. Cost of living crises, public skepticism, the constant pressure to modernize. The walls may be clean, but the cracks are still there. Still, something feels different this time. Maybe it's William's iron will. Maybe it's Catherine's quiet grace. Or maybe it's just exhaustion, the monarchy's desperate need for peace after decades of turmoil. Whatever it is, the message is clear. This was more than a punishment. It was a power shift. King Charles is turning a blind eye, but King William won't, said one insider. And maybe, just maybe, that's the whole point. The crown isn't waiting for the next generation anymore. It's already moving on. Still, one haunting question remains. Will this silence Meghan? Or will it awaken something far louder? Because if there's one thing everyone knows, it's that Meghan Markle doesn't lose quietly. Late-night TV hosts joked about the royal divorce 2.0. Tabloids screamed about California versus the crown. But deep down, even the most cynical Brit felt it. This was history repeating itself. Another royal woman versus the firm. Another war between blood and image. And somewhere behind palace walls, Charles sat alone, probably wondering if he'd done the right thing, or just bought himself a few months of peace. Because in the end, this isn't really about Meghan, Andrew, or even the titles. It's about survival. The monarchy, stripped of its glamour and forced to face the 21st century. Will William's reign finally modernize the crown? Or will it fall into the same old trap? Control the narrative, hide the truth, and pray the people forget. Nobody knows yet. But one thing is certain, the story's not over. Because as every royal watcher in London will tell you with a smirk, in this family, the scandals never really end. They just wait for their next chapter. And with Meghan reportedly preparing her next move, maybe another interview, maybe a lawsuit, the palace better keep its champagne on ice. The calm may look peaceful from the outside, but inside Buckingham Palace, the storm's just catching its breath. Because history has a funny way of repeating itself, especially when it comes to the Windsors.